Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to officially welcome you to the History Show, the second edition of the History Show. Come on, somebody, who's excited tonight? Are we not all excited? Are we not all excited? You know,
besides learning about history, I'm expecting to laugh, have a good time.
Yeah.
And enjoy is very good when it comes to stand-up comedy. So I'm here to have fun, to learn, and to interact with other people.
We're just here to have fun and
Fun.
expect
What are you expecting, guys?
Kuti tisaisiza takafera pompo. Taizanyora mbesa wako.
Yes. That's Ramadan. We have got our notebooks. That is good. That is good. Anyways, when it comes to history, who do you think, if you had to want to talk to, which history in the entire history, which you just want to say, remember who would you want to talk to? Shaka, serious?
I think they should actually talk to Lobengula. He should actually explain to me what happened. Like, what happened?
Yes, hi, how are you?
I'm good. What are you expecting tonight?
To definitely have a good time, to have a good laugh. It has been a long week. So yes, honestly, having to support the best comedian, world-class comedian of our nation. So yes, definitely I'm looking for a good time.
tonight is really all about history. One thing I like about history is that it reminds us of the past, it allows us to acknowledge where we are, and it helps us to see where we are going. It gives us the vision to be able to see where we are headed because we have an understanding of where we came from. I see most of us, we are holding our smartphones. At one time, all of these things did not exist. Back in the day, there was no WhatsApp, there was no smartphone, there was no Airbnbs like the Arlington one, there was no sheltering communities to help the elderly, there was no banking institutes like Stanbic Bank to help us with banking systems. Nowadays, you can send money anywhere. If you're in Zimbabwe, you can receive or send money to somebody in Australia. We came somewhere, we have a past, and tonight is going to help us to understand where exactly we came from. Because at one point, all of these things, all of these fancy things, the privileges that we have in this generation, they didn't exist at one point. Even people such as Alexander the Great, they did not even see an aeroplane. Right now, some of us, we are praying, Lord, my visa, my visa, my visa. But Jesus himself, he didn't even see an airplane, even a train. So tonight we've got to appreciate history. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Laverne and I was your MC for tonight. And the moment we've been waiting for has finally come. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to be on your feet to help me welcome Walimu Nigel.
Right. Thank you, thank you. How are you guys doing? Good evening, class. Yeah, we may take our seats. Are you guys okay? Alright, I have an exercise I want to do. How many were here the last time? Yeah, so you know what I want you to do. Right, so last time there are some people trying on a test. So today I have results, the test that we wrote. I'm going to announce your marks. Alright, no, I'm not going to announce your marks. I'm just going to call you out in order. From the lowest to the highest. Trevor, where is Trevor? Come and get your paper. Papisa. Silent. Where is silent? That was your one here. Silent. 5 1 was 50. Miss Nelly. Get on just on my Instagram. Miss Nelly, come and get your paper. 15 out of 50. Leo T. Schumer. Where is Leo T. Schumer? Out of Guaribu, then Benja. 38 out of 50. Michael Ufa. Where is Michael Ufa? 48 out of 50. Come and get it. Miss Nelly, where's your body? Hey, how are you guys? Are you guys okay? Are you guys ready for some history? Are you guys excited? Yeah, please tell your neighbor that is history time. With my neighbor. Then change the wind, like, come on, what? I don't know what you want to get for. My name is what I'm going to sit down. My name is still far. So today we are going to do Shaka Zulu. We are going to do the Rosary State. We are also going to do Napoleon Bonaparte. Now, sometimes people ask, what is the point of studying history? Some people say, history is not saying. Guys, pana boshanisa were 14 and pana boshanisa were Cold War. Pana boshanisa League of Nations were us. But the idea of studying history is you will see that human behavior has never changed over time. From the time the world started up to today, what only changes is the faces, the characters, and the places. But the events and the behaviors of people never change. So you will see that the way your boyfriend is behaving, that's the way boyfriends will behave even during the time. Now we start the story of Shaka, a boy who was born in the year 1787. And you know, when we talk about African history, especially that which took place in the 17th, 18th, sometimes even 19th century, when we talk about dates, sometimes it's hard to come by the exact date. Sometimes we just have a year. So birthday rashaka chairo tinogona kutadza kurisiya kuti dei chaichaira zvaro. Why? What is the reason? The reason is because as Africans, we, at this point, we had not yet acquired the skill of writing. So everything was just mostly passed by oral tradition. So obviously some things get lost over time, some things get corrupted, and also the fact that during this time, we probably also did not have what we also didn't have a calendar system and stuff like that. But anyway, Shaka was born in 1787 to Senza Gakona and Nandi. Senza Gakona Kajama, which is the tribe that he was coming from, and Nandi. But it is believed, some say, not actually some say, it is known that Shaka was born, he was an illegitimate child. He was born out of wedlock before the bride price had been paid. So as a result, Shaka aionekwa ari mwana wesako. He's illegitimate. So his clan were failing to accept him. Saka in his own clan, they tried to fit into other clans and they were rejected until him and his mother were finally taken into Diniswayo's tribe, which was of the Mutetwa clan. Yes. Oh, when I'm Mutetwa. Yes. Ah, well, I think. So anyway, and then what then happened is that in 1860, Caesar Abona died. And when he died, the guy who was supposed to take up his place, Caesar Abona's son, was assassinated by Shaka. And then Shaka came back and he took power, supported by Diniswa. So it is that moment when Shaka became the king of what was then to be known as the Zulu kingdom. Are we still together? Yes. So you must know that when Shaka came in, he introduced different things. He introduced new military tactics. He introduced new ways of life because he was a military genius. And also this is someone who had a very difficult upbringing. A very difficult upbringing of rejection, knowing no love. So he was a tough guy. So he introduced new military tactics. So we are now going to see what took place when Shaka was introducing reforms. We are going to build an empire and conquer it. Where's someone who is like, this is the new ship, new dispensation. Formation at Chaisa. Never strategies at Chaisa. Number one. Is hakuna mtu atafeka isu unaweza tena kuona tumaini nzoka uweza Number 2, hakuna muto acharora. Fulango, muto wese wakugara management. Maituna chitukaniraiko kana taakunorwa tichibudisa murenge. Chichi Pabo I'll say that as from now onwards, takushandisa common information. Regiment lekutanga rinenge riri pakati pano. Vumaniwo vachafunga kuti vapedza nesu. Taku hondo yacho ndopakusimuka regiment rediviro neregiment redisant. Pese vachasimuka muvenge apakati. Vumaniwo. Number 3, hakuna achaita zvekupotsera mapfumo. Short stepping spear. Takusvika muvengi fair. Patusu. Ari wiki mupfungwa. Neboti yako iri wiki. Mubairo rufu. Kufu. This was Shaka, a man who is serious about war, a man who is serious about changing how the Zulu kingdom is viewed. And one thing about Shaka, he did not like cowards. Sakati hakuna mutu anoenda kuhondo odzoka ine vanga kumusana. Wanochitisa kayo.
Shaka Zulu, the African dictator. Shaka
introduce on Shaka Zulu. I introduce our piano. But you see, the reason why we put that song, we made that song using recent technology. How many think that was a good use of technology? I remember. The beauty of doing that is that if there are any of our kids here, it will be easy for you to remember. Wow, Samapa can list the things that Shaka introduced. Shaka starting still. Shaka Zulu. Come on for the Shelly. Problem here brings our one. One is our man's not going to Shaka Zulu. But this is Malingo trying to find ways to help the students remember. So now, Shaka Zulu has introduced all of these wonderful tactics. The Zulu kingdom is rising in power. 1816, he takes leadership. In 1818, he fights the battle against one of his worst enemies called Sweden. And he fights the battle at the Goka Hill, and he triumphs. But now we know what is a Zulu pride. You feel out Isusu amongst other clans. We are there to be counted. 1819 to 1820, he then defeated again the Ndwandwe forces at the battle of the Masautsi River. So what we know what people Shaka knows about Iowa, but we just say Tuchimaya. But you know. Obviously, as power is growing, this is also giving rise to what was known as the Mfekane. Mfekane, it's a Nguni term that speaks to dispersion. It was a time of crashing. It was a time of people dispersing. The empire is rising, population is growing, people are competing for resources. So there were so many arguments, there were so many fights that started happening, so many conflicts that started happening. As a result, we started seeing the migration of certain kings, into other parts, but it is a conflict. There were people like the Soshangane, the Shangane people, who then Soshangane migrated and then he ran away. So then they formed the Gaza state with the social with the Shanghai people. And then go wait up so Buza Guane. Akatizo Sekari. So he also migrated, and then he's the one who founded on the formation of what is now known as Swaziland. History of dates back to Anasobu Zambani. And then we have Muzilikazi did not really run away during the time of crashing, but Muzilikazi had never liked the idea of paying tribute to Shaka. Saka iya akangosungura kuti inini izvandisku nakirwa nazvo ndoparwa pasi kandakuda kubulawayo. Of course ndekesera kuti bulawayo zvayo panguva iyoyo. But then that's when he then left. So this is the Mfekane. So what contributed or what were the causes of Mfekane? Kana mazopinda muzama. Number one, there was a drought during that period. So famine caused people to compete for resources. Number two, population is rising, which still puts pressure on resources. Number three, there was what we can call political aspirations. It was everyone is trying to grow their kingdom. So what are the list of three reasons? Okay. Can you state one cause of Unforgettable?
There was drought, so people were running away from the scarcity of resources.
Murere wongo. Mama wangu pamila wangu, una wapeza yaja kanchiziwa. How old are you guys? How old are you? Oh, 13, we've got 13-year-old. These are another level. How old are you? 10-year-old. This is the future. Right. Another cause of Unforgettable.
The population was rising.
Wonderful. Hakubata wana wa mwalimu. So Shaka is doing well. He's doing well. He's got the power, he's running things. Zvakanaka. Until something devastating happens. Something devastating happens. Shaka lost the one person that he cared for the most. Because remember, there's a patataura. There's a life ya Shaka. Panapata kutoa there's a bibiraki. Agastorina. Of the dictators that were studied in history, is one of the few. And that's the latest one baby. And Hitler last time, how many of them were talking about Hitler? Back to the other guys, Makaka, Eva Brown. So Shaka, his whole life, from a young age, what he had known was either rejection or fear. People had rejected him or feared him. The only person he loved, the only person he knew to receive love from, the only person who was like his advisor was his mother, Queen Nandi. So on the 10th of October in 1827, Queen Nandi died of dysentery. So dysentery. When Shaka received the news that his mother was not feeling well, that his mother was ill, Shaka was very far away. Recordings say that he ran, obviously not continuously, but he ran a distance of 100 kilometers in a period of 24 hours. Type sheet. No, those are getting Shaka. So Shaka ran that period in a period of 24 hours, 100 kilometers. Come on, always get some packet. But then, unfortunately, still his mother passed away. This broke him to pieces. This is the woman he had always loved, the one woman he had known and cared for. The closest ally and advisor that Shaka could trust was now gone. Shaka fell into a serious time of mourning because this broke him down. So some of the difficult things that I introduced up Shaka akati mai vake vafa vanga vaine maids avaifamba nawo, some maidens, some virgins, 10 of them vakati ngavavigwe naamai vavo. They were buried together with Queen Nandi. He did not stop there. Shaka akati pindai mumatanga muraye mombe kuitira kuti mhuru dzifile how it feels to lose a parent. Yeah. Shaka declared that during that time there is going to be no consumption of milk. And yet milk was central to the diet of the Zulu people. Akati time iyoyo akusi kudyarwa, there is no farming irikuitwa. Chikafu chei mai vangu vafa. Shaka also declared that there were no conjugal activities that were to take place. What does they love? Queen Nandi wafa. That's the Shaka God speaking. So Shaka was, he forced his mourning on everyone. To an extent where Shaka also said, we are going to be evaluating how deeply you are also mourning the death of the queen. If you were seen to not have been mourning enough, you would be killed. All our records say that about 7,000 people were killed. So now, what then happened because of this? In as much as people had been proud of Shaka as their leader, this is now when people started becoming dissatisfied. You have attacked our way of life. You are being hard on us because of the death of your mother. People are not happy. Now also, even talks of taking over his authority come into play. Politics is now at play.
Shaka zvanoda kuitwa manje anoda kuti chingotangeta ziva kuti munhu wosesu anobleeda lord inoziva but kubleeda anobleeda but tarisa maziformation dzaakuisa baba tiri kurirakasha vavengi vese at what cost ini nozozvibheberai naida rakavigwa naamai vake itori personal kai but baba munhu akabatadza zvose nai Shaka haasi kuchigonera Ini, nai Shaka kugonera. Shaka kugonera. Ndikukumanikidza kuramba. Baba, isusu tinoziva kuti Shaka kugonera. Ende tiri kuti pamberi neutongi hwake. Iwo ndiko unomusha chete. Chiuya pano, tichionesana. Alright, zvese zvakutaura izvi zvinoita zvinhu. Saka wakati tuta sei. Mambo Shaka! Magi! Magi kusika kwenu! Meyuli bro! Ukiwaleta wale mamba! Wekaleta kusika uka!
And that is how Shaka Zulu died. He was killed by his half-brothers, who were obviously not happy with what had been going on, but obviously apart from Utsinye Wanga Zumbuitira Wana, imama unyanya mtanoisi, when headmaster Wamuya, headmaster Wamuya, obviously he wants to make an evaluation. Can I put the place we're not going to my learning tools. Let's keep quiet, let's be serious. We now want to move forward. Can I master Howard just be quiet? Good evening, headmaster. One learning tools ataka chishameza.
Hakuna learning tool yakambofamba kudai. Because vamwana ndoziva ndikuona vanonzwa vachiita munhu vakufara ma-learning tools. Yakapera.
Yeah, it's just a modern way of more. I did this one. I did my better Zulu Kingdom.
Ndikuona mutari zidhumira. Marekodzero akutaura kuti mutaridzi junior school fees baba achibhadhara hatiri pana kuita zvemalengitis ende wanokuona these days mutaridzi kuchitengera zvasikana zvekumafomu 140 baba wake ndo vakatengera timu yebhora majezi saka kurudzidzwenas so fantaita Do you love history? Yes. Are you learning history? Yes. Vana. Check. Ndaticheck. Munhu wakasaunda akawandisa. And vanhu vandiona muno musamoview I have not seen in a long time muchiya kumalecture. Kumashure kwanatya now. School fees dziri right here. I've found for anybody sounds. What that I'm going to continue. We're going to love it. Now let's move. We are now moving to the Rose Estate. Now, before I get to the Rose Estate, part of the feedback that we get, sometimes when people see us and we are studying history of all kinds, sometimes we can go as far as doing the history of Australia, the history of Mexico, the history of the UK. We do it because we want and we can. But sometimes people will be like, you should only be studying our history. Because Australia no one will history anywhere. Valid points, but here is where I am coming from. A well-rounded person, a truly intelligent person, a truly balanced and sound thinking person, especially in the current world that we are living in. You are limited if you only know your history. So yes, it's very important to study our history, but there is no harm in understanding what is also happening or what happened in countries around us. Why? Because some of these things heavily influenced who we are today. So you can't say don't study British history, know nothing about it when they were our colonizer. It's impossible. You can't say, no, don't study Australian history. And yet we have Zimbabweans. But I don't test Australia. You could not come to Australia. Even the history and write about comments. Thank you. Dinner next week. Kunoku. Last week I received a message. Someone sent me an inbox. I'm very serious. I'm not joking about this. Mukuru is saying, you need to go to Russia. So I is Amara to be on Friday. Mungo to a Russia. And unfortunately, I'm preparing for the show. Saka at that time to video. So there is nothing wrong in just being a well-rounded person. Know what happened to your neighbor, what happened to you, and how it influenced you. Now it's coming home. We are here. So all of these things that we are talking about happened around the same time, the same period, 17th to 19th century.
Remember, we talked about the notation, Yema centuries. Kuti, something happened in the year 1842. Which century is that? There is the power. Wonderful. Yes. So, to make it easy to remember, can I want 18 something, almost plus 1. Kona 2000 something plus 1, 21st. So, that's the century. Next day, 18th century. Next day, down 22nd. 20th in engaging report 21st century. So now we are coming to study about an empire which is very interesting, which is the Roge Empire. So there are various empires that took place in the progression of this country. We have the Ndebele Kingdom, we have the Murumtaba, we have the Great Zimbabwe Empire, and then we have the Roge Empire. So on our map, for those, for the benefit of those, it covered the areas Butwa, Kami, Manyanga, Jojo, and Bulawayo, somewhere down south. So how this empire came into being? There was a guy called Changamire Dombo. I love my history class. So Changamire Dombo, where he came from, he was a vassal, more like a royal servant in the Murumtaba kingdom. But he was not happy about how things were being done in the Murumtaba kingdom. Particularly the involvement of the Portuguese. Because the Portuguese would come with their own culture, would come with their own religion, would come and impose a lot of things, and they would, try to even downplay the superiority given with the locals. So because Changamire didn't like this, he migrated, and because he was a royal vassal, he migrated. Akawia, he was a headsman. He came with a lot of cattle. So when he was looking for a place to settle, he looked for somewhere where there was fertile grazing land for his cattle. And this cattle actually helped him to have influence in politics. So as you know, for influence. Maswaya was going to see Dombo. I hope you are moving. My influencer. So that's the guy who started. And the reason why he liked also this location. When he was looking at this location, because you are saying that side, we have the Limpopo River, so we are safe. Chances of attacks very minimal. Kusai Dugo, there is the Kalahari desert, so we are safe. But, and then Kumsorogo, Kwamakwine, the Mtaba, which he had already defeated. So he felt safe, but later we are going to see why this was a problem. So Changamire Dombo, powerful ruler. The Portuguese tried by all means to influence and to get in, but he was building his empire and his kingdom in such a way as to not allow any Portuguese influence. He was anti-Portuguese. Jabuti, Changamire Dombo, in his grave, he is happy about Cristiano Ronaldo's performance right now. And he wanted to go to Portugal. So, the structure of the state, the religious structure, they believed in one, who is the supreme being. They believed in rain-making ceremonies. They believed that leaders were divinely, instated. They also believed in Wazimu and Washikio, spirit mediums, much like everywhere else in all the other kingdoms. If you then look at the way their architecture, these guys built in a similar style as you would see, with the Great Zimbabwe. So they are, so you will see that the style is similar. You can go to the next one. You can see that the style is similar to how the Great Zimbabwe were built. So like the Kami ruins were ruins left by the Roshi Empire. So Changamuredombo was powerful, and then Kwakwakoya, many other kings after him. So the word Changamire, Raivapa Nyaye Kuti, sometimes when there is a foreign national who is trying to understand what is happening locally, right? Vano gonna kutadza kupronounce certain words. I said this in one of the lectures to say, Javani road yewenda ku Chigoyi. Inonzishi Loma Gundi. And it's coming from Nemakonde. So that's how we have something like that. So Changamire, the word Ame means ruler, right? Ruler. In the Portuguese language, and then the first leader, one of the leaders is Changa. So they were like Changa Ame, until it's Changa Mire. So this is how the language. What I like about teaching in this day and age, if you then just go and do your research, after that you look for my number and you will send me money. To just say, Mami, we are sorry for doubting you. We were not familiar with your pain. So you can later do the research. So kwaba yavanhu vakawanda kwakavayana gomo remvura handizive kuti mazita ava vaizosva zvaita sei, but some of the names were cool. Gomo remvura, Rupanda, Manhanga, Nechagadzike, Changamire-dombo, Gumbo reshuma, Chirisamuru 1, Chirisamuru 2. Chirisamuru 2 is a man worth noting and talking about. Because Chirisamuru 2 was a very ambitious guy. Very, very ambitious. He tried some ambitious projects. At one point, Chirisamuru, if you do your research, you will find that he wanted to relocate certain mountains. Aida kuunganidza vanhu vake kuti toita sei kuti iri gomo iri tiribvise tiende naro tinorisa patiri kuda. That's Chirisamuru, the second one. The other thing that Chirisamuru did, he was embarked on a very ambitious project. But anyway, I like to believe he's probably not the first one to do that. For those of you who read the Bible, you will see someone with such an ambitious project. Chirisamuru wanted to build a tower. He wanted to take the moon and use it for spiritual power. That was Chirisamuru the second. You see, centuries ago, when you see some people across the world doing some crazy things, when they are in power, as now so that's the importance of sometimes studying history. So now, one of the issues that happened, because this is an empire that's existing before actually the Zulu. So one of the problems that then started happening, that location was strategic. It was good, only for a certain period. Because what started happening was that when Mfekani started happening, and people were migrating to Sasu, vachipfuura vese vaipfuura nemamwe neroshi ende vanhu ava vasingapfuura vachiti pamusoro. When they were passing through, they would just plunder and kill and fight and go. Vakasaita diplomacy of sending some emissaries before kuti tichazouya vaingopfuura vongodharamudzira rovai. And these are people that are coming from a very more intense region, military tactics, and all of that. So these were some of the tribes that passed through. vachikubucha vanhu vachiti the Kololo, the Ngoni, the Ndebele, the Jeregoni, the Mselengoni, and the Ngwane. Vanhu vese vari kupfuura. And this ultimately weakened the Roshi Empire. And then there is a queen warrior by the name Nyamazana. So that one, she's the one who killed Chirisa Moro II. And when she killed Chirisa Moro II, her goal, because she had heard that Chirisa Moro II has 2 hearts. I'm going to tell more two. So the goal was not only to kill, but I don't fear Talise kuti moyo iri kupa. I'd like to pick dai kurukunzi Chirisa Moro two anga akaona ganya one. Dai kurukunzi akaonekwa aine 2 moyo. I believe he would be the first man we would allow to have a side chick. Because mane pakasiyana pekugara. He could tell Chirisa Moro he could go to his wife. Oh, Balio, the thing is, would you watch? So that is what then led. So when we talk about the economics of the Roshi state, there were cattle headers, because the founder obviously, so there were cattle headers, fiber cattle rearing, crop cultivation, trade, blacksmithing, mining. And mining now is right, if they ever come across large deposits of minerals, like gold, silver, what they would do is and to them it was also like a spiritual side. They would not abuse. So anyway, so these are the economic activities that will happen. Crop cultivation, fishing and basketing, hunting and gathering. Don't only visceral slide, you know it. Did the mirror slide? Do you know who made that? Silver slide, it's just one economic activity. One. Correct. I'm going to walk into ranching. I will get that table. You want us of much chance. How many do you want to give us? 3. You want to give us 3. He's redeeming the whole big bitch.
Trades. Basket. They've got blacksmithing.
But don't go. Right. So, this thing that you are seeing, this canon, belongs to the Roshi. One after they had done trade with the Portuguese. But the way they would do trade, they would not allow the Portuguese to get into their state. No. They had what they called Vashambats, right? So Vashambats were like emissaries who would be sent for diplomatic reasons, business reasons. Though they did not want any interference. So in their trade, this is one of the things that they managed to acquire. Okay. So now we want to move finally to another dictator by the name Napoleon Bonaparte. So now, Napoleon. Which before we move on to Napoleon, before we move on to Napoleon, guys, I'd like to give a special shout out. One of my favorite students. Can you just stand? Oh, she's short like me. We have stage. Can you come to the stage? All the way from Japan. All the way from. I'm too long for one and he's straight Japan. Can you just stand on the stage? No, she's attended like how do you greet? Konnichiwa. What do they say? Oh, konnichiwa. Konnichiwa. So you're from Japan, right? Just. Okay. Would you like to? When is the Independence Day for Japan? No, what if you were to tell Zimbabweans if you want them to visit Japan, what is the one thing or two things you would tell them about Japan that they should come into?
Japanese people are nice. So please come to Japan.
Nice people, you can see that. Let's clap hands for Manu. Beautiful, thank you. What's the taxi international Harare? International, you know, Japan. And not only one, there are three. So when you go back, when you guys are posting about the show, you say it was a multiracial show, you know. It was an international show. There were international delegates from Tokyo, Japan. Right, so August 15, 1769, a man called Napoleon Bonaparte is born in a place called Corsia in France. Very interesting guy. The guy was very passionate. The guy also was very ambitious. He did not come from a poor background, but at the same time he was not very privileged. So in only 16 years, he in 1785 actually, he graduated as an army officer in 1785. Because of his passion for his country, because of his passion for his nation, Napoleon rose through the ranks until he actually became second lieutenant. But you must also know that around 1789, that's when we're having the French Revolution taking place in France. What the French Revolution was basically about is there was the monarch system where there were kings and queens who were believed to have been placed by God in place of power. But so people started revolting. That idea. They wanted it to become a republic where people decide who gets into power. So during the time of and part of the reason why people were revolting was not just because they didn't like the people. Economic conditions were hard. Things were difficult. And a queen was there at the time as Marie Antoinette. She is famed for having been told, Queen, people don't even have bread to eat. And she said, let them have cake. Anyway, she was later executed. I think 2 or 3 weeks after the husband had also been executed. But anyway, with Napoleon joined a group, a democratic party that was called the Jacobins. So the Jacobins were people who were fighting for the people, who were saying, Isusu, Chukuda, Chukudaban, Chukutiban, Lavakatski, Davasaitwe, Jenny, Shemona, Chukuti, Teban, Matapiwana, Mari, Tivao, Katua, Kamshi. So there was a guy called Robespierre. Robespierre was very serious and passionate about Nyaya. A time made a reign of terror, where anyone who seemed to be opposing the movement, again to rephrase it because my movement for democracy. A movement for change. Movement for the people. These people will be fought. So anyway, Napoleon is linked to these guys, he's supporting these guys, and what he need, I'm for the people. But anyway, these guys were eventually killed by execution and the guillotine. But they pronounced it as guillotine. Even if you don't make sense, guillotine. So, and then Napoleon was only put on house arrest because he had been connected to these guys. But Napoleon was so hungry for power. So hungry for power to the point and to the extent that he overthrew. There was a group of 5 people known as the Directory. But that group was overthrown. Then they instated the consul, 3. And then in 1801, Napoleon declared himself consul for life. He was the first consul, but I don't know what he did, consul for life. Whether he's for life. I don't know some dates, for life. So the Directory is done away with. But from there, he wants to ascend even higher in power. He wants to become emperor. So now, it is December 2nd, in 1802. And now we are seeing the day of his coronation. You will see something strange that took place on the day of his coronation.
We are all gathered here to witness this event on this day, 2 December 1804. By the power that was invested in me, I, Pope Pius, the servant, I'm here on this day to declare
Napoleon Bonaparte, crown myself as the Emperor of France. I proceed to crown my beautiful lady, of France.
The Pope was shocked. The reason why Napoleon crowned himself is because he did not want to subscribe to the notion that the church ordains leaders. He believed that it is the people who ordain leaders. So he knew that in his record, if they then say, akagadzwa nechechi one day anogona kuzonzi ngabviswe nechi. But apart from that, before we talk about his exploits, he had various exploits. Napoleon And because of his ambition, you see, this is at the height of his power. This was his title. Yes, Yaradai. Napoleon, by the grace of God, in the constitutions, Emperor of the French, King of Italy, Mediator of Swiss Confederation, Protector of the Confederation of the Rhine, Protector of the Grand Duchy of Warsaw, Co-Prince of Andorra. You would get to call out this whole title. But let us talk about his personal life a bit. So Napoleon was married to a lady by the name Josephine. But Josephine, this was not her first marriage. Josephine had been previously married to a guy called Alexandre. Now, the way that Josephine had been raised, she was not coming from a very wealthy family, but the parents were specifically raising her to position her in a place where she would be married by a wealthy man. At 10 years of age, they took her to a convent school, with all the right etiquette, the right training. And then Josephine Kure, it seemed to have paid off when she got married to an influential guy by the name Alexandre. And they had 2 kids, a son named Eugene and a girl named Hortense. But the marriage did not last. It only lasted about 6 years. But due to a friendship with another lady called Teresa Carabua, Teresa then introduced Josephine to Napoleon. So Asangana Napoleon, her comments about Napoleon was, the guy is rather shy, he's weird and he's quiet. But then when she considered how powerful Napoleon was, remember this is a lady with 2 kids, 0 income. This is a safety net. The guy was Napoleon. But Napoleon was a passionate lover. Napoleon would constantly be writing letters to Josephine, even when he was in battle. Ladies, if your man wanted to. If he wants to, he will. Next time when your man does not respond or reply to you on time, sorry, Nandri busy. Napoleon ain't tsamba ari kuhondo. So, but something strange, not strange, something bad then happened. Josephine got into an affair. So Josephine got into an affair. Napoleon got busy. Nema battles at one time when he was in the Battle of Egypt. Napoleon akanzwa kuti uyu munhu ari kudanana nemunhu nekumwe mukomana kuParis. Napoleon akanda kutodzoka ikoko. And then when he came back, Napoleon akatsamwa. He wanted to actually file for divorce, but the kids and the woman begged. And also because Napoleon really loved this woman. Akamuregerera. But Napoleon angatsamwa nezvanhu zvaitika izvi. But Napoleon was also cheating. Jonas. Because during the time he was in Egypt, he was actually cheating on Josephine with a lady called Paula Forez, who was the wife of his junior soldier. But anyway, they begged. But nekufamba kwetime, izvi zvaregerana zvapera, cheating zvapera, varegerana. But then what took place was, though the marriage was, difficult and all of that, but the major thing was that Josephine was not able to give Napoleon an heir, a son. So they decided to divorce. So they filed for divorce. Itsamba yakanyorwa na Napoleon. Zoga
itsamba yakanyorwa naNapoleon yakareba hatitombogoni kuiverenga tikaipedza, but yaitanga ichiti I cannot go a day without loving you. I cannot go a night without holding you in my arms. I cannot have a cup of tea without cursing the glory and ambition which keep me away from the love of my life. So ndopa yakatangira, but yapakati panapa ndopa zonzi goodbye woman, comma tormentor, comma happiness, hope and love of my life. Like Napoleonite, I hate that I love you. So this was his speech. And then there was also a speech that was written for Josephine that she could not even finish because she was overcome by emotions. Now we see that speech.
With the permission of my august and dear husband, I must declare that, not having the hope of bearing children, capable of fulfilling the requirements of his policies and the interests of Europe or France, I am pleased to offer him the greatest proof of attachment and devotion ever given on earth.
She failed to finish the speech, and an officer had to come and finish it. I shall always retain a tender remembrance of his paternal and devoted affection, and it was he who crowned me, yet will recognize him as my truest friend. But these guys remained very close, even up to the point of death. So this was the personal life of Napoleon. He went on to have many great exploits. But his fall came or started around the year 1812 when he tried to invade Russia, and it disaster. Akazama zvikaramba. Disastrously. So, and then he was also defeated in 1813 at the Battle of Leipzig. In 1814, he abdicated the throne and was exiled to the island of Elba. But then he escaped from that island because he was a man who could not give up on his ambition. He escaped. In the year of 1815, in March, he went back to Paris. He took back power. Because remember, he was also popular with the people. He had seemed to side with the people. Then the 100 days when he was trying to defeat his enemies. But then he was defeated at the Battle of Waterloo by Britain and the Allies, and his allies. And then he was eventually exiled again until he died at the island where he was exiled. And he died of sickness, but further research then showed that what actually killed him was, there was a portrait, so because of the humid conditions on that island, from time to time, when it's humid, the portrait would sort of release arsenite. So and he was poisoned until he eventually died. So he died of arsenite poisoning. Queen Nandi died of dysentery. That's sometimes life. The most powerful people can be taken down by the simplest of things. So that was the Shaka, that was the Zulu Kingdom, the Rogi Empire, and Napoleon Bonaparte. Thank you very much.
Now we are moving to the section of the show which I like very much. Are you guys ready for quiz? Guys, quiz here moving Wamari. That are you ready for quiz? So what we're going to do, we have two sections of quiz. The first one, we're going to have individuals. Can I have 5 volunteers? Oh, Mari, 5 volunteers, you can just come to the front. Timmy over the last time. Yes, you can come. So I'm about to Then the second section of the quiz, we are going to have it as teams. We had said this, but I announced the show. So if there's Panama teams are a ball. So we just come, we have 3 teams of 4 people each. They are not permanent, Mama. Oh, gender. Talk out to this gender. I don't worry much, my and I'm queen that. Hey, what's going on? See, it's like now. Right, please put your phones away. And may you please try to be at a distance from each other so that a banana coopera movement, no coopera serious. All right. So the first question: Can you give us the name of the 5-member committee that was in charge of ruling France before the consuls came? That's tower. Please don't come around and crowds. Musafi and my aunts. Right? Boards up. Boards up. Church. The church. I can't see your hands. Commission. There's nothing? All right. At the directorate. But wait. It was actually called the directorate. And it was automatically Can you give me the first name of Napoleon's first wife? Musafuri whenever mukatum guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boards up. I want to I say up. The answer I mean. 2. All right, 2. That's already more question. Let's go, guys. You've been eliminated. Ade. But now, no 3. No, actually, yes, but we still want to determine who is number 1, who is number 2. Let's play best for you. Go try. What I've taught my students all the time is that Corona question and go almost see a blank. You want to start a core to want to marker. Can you give me the name of Shaka's father? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Boards up. Pano atinanti ngati murere moko. Ashinogara pasi. My guy, it's not even Zwide, but it's Zidwe. Uyu Baba. At the house of Zidwe, automatically you are number 3. Let's clap hands for him. 50. Yes, he has won himself $50. Marina. Beautiful. Sumza, hey. Ah, it's okay. No, don't know. I took Toramani. It's okay. It's okay. Ndoka zvatotara ari magame show epaTV pane paZBC pana mapanze saka mari yenyu munoda kuishandisei ngoma.
I would like to thank my mother. I want to buy a aqua. Aqua and then a lot of alcohol.
That's very fast. Aqua is going to improve, right? They don't have 50. Right. So now we have got two. We have two people battling for. We have two people battling for number one. Can you give me the name of the Roji leader who was believed to have had two hearts? What's up? Chirisa Muru the second, Chirisa Muru the second. Let's clap hands for them. Bagupisa. Bagupisa. Pisa. Can you give us the date of Napoleon's coronation? That? I don't know Pisa. Boards up. All right, December 2, 1802 to December. I don't Did you around the 9? Regarding Funze one, did you around the 9? Guys. No, someone wonder which dig. We talked about a place where we find the Kami ruins. The Torah ants. Sorry. The Torah ants. That's no more about you. Teacher Shika Kweso. From the north. Okay, in which year was Shaka born? Five, 4, 3, 2, boards up. And 1810, 1756. Both answers are incorrect. Oh, the answer is 1787. All right, answer the advantage and manuals. Shaka's mother died of which disease? Is it Murudi could Zaka Omeraj? Zakabusa? Hey! I love this for me as Mwalimu. Actually, I'm doing a good job. Anzina we ngatita say spelling. Are you saying Timutas are spelling or Uruti Musatari is spelling? Uruti Tari is spelling. I don't tell Body Chibaba, I just spelling. I hope this will not be proven true. Right. Munigasu the attack. ndakutotanga kudhauta neniwo. Ndiyo here? Vese vari tu hadzisi ka? Wadzisungirira. Decent zvona zvati muri. Which one? Ah, I see. This one is correct. So I was voisira. Or I said before. Somebody tie. Let's clap hands for them. It's a tie. Right. They are getting 100 each. Gatwarere moko. So this segment, this quiz segment. We are common. Change that was here. E vatori ngati mabhegi tumwe rwanzi mwalimu munyatsa watambudza ma envelope awarimo tunzirewo mamwe tumabhegi mari yako uda kuishandisa ishama
wakadzira kuti ndiwana pekutangira
Ukatezi?
wakadzira kuti ndiwana
Anzi mukawedzera ndiwana pekutangira izvezvi une 100 hauna pekutangira. Who did you come with?
I came with my bros.
You came with the bros. Shout out to you. High five to you. Aiwa, makorokoti ngatiurere maoko. Viko, kunyatsoda chipicture we apa baba. Muchitambidzwa. Mawaya. Imi mikoma. Muri kutarisira kuda kuita sei nemari yenyu yakawanda kudai.
Tomwendawo kudhina newife.
Madam Arimere. Madam, just wave. Yes, that's my man. Ladies, very well, eh? Right, that's a picture. Don't bro to die that side. That's the short. I did it. Wonderful. Thank you. Let's clap hands for them as they go and take their places. Are the teams ready? The teams, we need teams of 3. We need 3 teams of 3. Kisa yo baba wa wina hawa. Kamile pamberi. Aye, watimi. So it has, let's pass, find more space. How many teams do we have here? Vanille team yao gomira bagada. Abare bang team andru gona. Mabodzi daru kwana. Okay. All right, let's move so that we wrap this up. We're out of time, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that one team? Each team so. Guys. Okay. And we are only getting 1 winner. And that's it. Right. Dingiswayo belongs to which clan or to which tribe? Let's go. 5, 4, 2, 3, 2, 1. Mungasumze boat. Boards up. Blake. Gatorere mwashino garabasi. Ramari Blake. Everyone else said mutetwa. Let's clap hands for Tinashe and crew. Tipeopo. Gatorere moko. Dziwe kwa magasa anongodiwa muupenyu. So ngiyamurikiriza ndiyo chaiyo. Right. Napoleon was defeated at which battle? Hey. Don't know what. The name of the final battle which he lost. The name. 5, 4, 3. It's the battle of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boards up. Waterloo. Apple. Continental Russia. Gatino Garibasi and Gadorene Wao. Ladies, can you move to the edge? Right, it's getting hotter. Josephine in her first marriage was married for how many years? Disqualified. You type this side. What was the name of the political party that Napoleon joined? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boards up. Boards up. Dikla. Lelele. Dots. What you are saying? What can I say? The Jacobins. All right. In which year did Queen Nandi die? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold up. 1814, 1856, 1827. The correct answer is 1827. Let's go there for them. Thank you very much, ladies. Take your seats out. Gentlemen, come and collect your grand prize. Lovely. Oh, 150. I want to go 50-50. I bought 300. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been such an exciting, fun history comedy night. Thank you so much for coming out, and God bless you. How many enjoyed the show? Did you guys have fun? Right, so just like to give a special shout out to our sponsor, the Arlington Retreat, Stanbic Bank, Children Arms Community Care, and also JCMC for providing us with excellent sound, staging, and lights, and the screens as well. Thank you very much for your partnership. So we're going to be outside taking pictures and having a good time. Thank you very much. I think Tikambaisa Shaka Zulu, I did. Shaka Zulu. So the next show, just pause. The next history show is going to be next year in. Yes, it's going to be big. Don't know why. Trust me. Trust Mwalimu, guys. Trust Mwalimu. I know what I'm doing. Are you guys not ready for exams? Alright. Tomorrow. Thank you very much. Isai Shaka Zulu.